You are so magnetic and powerful. So my question for you is not, are you magnetic or are you not? We all have a natural magnetism. My question for you is, are you honoring your natural magnetism in this life? As you walk through this life, your soul longs to attract everything that is in alignment with it in this life, with its truest expression. And your ego, out of fear, is doing everything to prevent your soul's true magnetism from shining through. Why? From a very young age, we were conditioned to believe that it is not safe to be our true selves, to be our authentic selves, to be quirky and weird and funny and interesting and sparkle. So we dim that sparkle, we dim that light, and we also learn how to conform, to be who the person in front of us needs us to be in order for them to accept us or in order for us not to stand out. But babes, if this found you, you are so magnetic, you are so powerful, and you were meant to walk this life in a way that attracts everything that is in alignment with your natural magnetism. So my question for you isn't, are you magnetic or are you not? We, each of us, have a natural magnetism to our being. My question is instead, are you acting in a way that honors your natural magnetism? Are you noticing the moments where the universe and the collective are mirroring your magnetism to you, showing you this is part of your power in this life. This is part of your soul's desire to express and to magnetize in alignment with that expression everything that is meant for it. Let me give you an example. When I am sharing myself and being seen, there are wild, incredible attractions that happen into my life, whether it is opportunities, people who are so in alignment with me. Like I'll go to an event and I'll be able to meet the most magical person in the room because they've already connected with my energy. And so we're instantly able to bridge the gap of, okay, we're in a room of strangers, but because I've shined my light with the world or shown my light with the world, I just attract into my field such magical people who are in alignment with me and my vibration. So incredible coincidences and synchronicities have taken place through that magnetism. Now, aligned action in the material world creates magnetic attraction. When we are taking aligned action towards our dreams, our visions, our hopes, not only for ourselves, but for each other, for the collective, for the earth, then we become an instant match for everything that actually wants to find us. We're just not operating in a way that can attract those opportunities, those people, those communities in. We're not shining our light, and therefore we're not acting as the beacon we are supposed to be acting as, to then draw in everything on the same frequency as our natural radiant light. So yesterday I was thinking about the wild fact, how wild it is that we are always taking aligned action. We're always taking aligned action. The question is, what are we aligning our action to? Are we aligning the actions we're taking to our fears? Are we aligning the actions to our resistance, to our doubt, to our subconscious fears and certainties that everything is going to go wrong and it's unsafe for us to thrive, and therefore we must focus on surviving? We must be in survival mode because that's what our subconscious wants us to do. That's what we've absorbed from family members, conditioning, schooling, media, to play small, to contract, to dim our light so that we don't stand out because that is unsafe or dangerous. So I want to ask you, my darling, my love, my angel, what are you aligning your actions to? Are we aligning our actions to the idea that it has to be perfect for us to be worthy of doing it? Are we aligning our actions to our fears, our fear of getting it wrong, our fear of failing, our fear of rejection? It's actually not that you're fearing the rejection itself. You fear what you think that rejection means or makes true about you. You fear what that rejection represents. So what if you made it represent the opposite? What if you get a no, you actually interpret that as you moving closer towards your dreams? Because what separates us from many people who are the full embodiment and expression of their dreams is the amount of rejection they were willing to put up with in order to become who they are now. In every field, unfortunately, the way that this paradigm is set up is a very exploitative relationship with creativity. And so there are a lot of people in the creative industries, the people we know and notice, They have had to face so much rejection for us to know and notice them, whether they are actors, singers, dancers, authors in the publishing space, like all of these people, comedians, and the rejection that comedians face. And that's also why I love people creating their own platforms, because then you can only reject yourself, which brings us to this idea of aligned action. Are we aligning our actions to self-rejection? Because someone in childhood said, oh, it's not acceptable for you to be that or do that or say that or speak that way, or we've internalized all this messaging that has taught us that we are in some way unacceptable. So, with that being expressed, my angel, what are you aligning your actions to? Remember that our actions have a lot to do with how much we love ourselves. And so when there is an action you're fearing taking, I invite you to ask yourself, how can I become the version of me who loves themselves enough to take this action and for it actually not to matter what comes from it? So maybe you want to apply to a certain program or apply to graduate school or apply for a grant. And you fear that they will say no, that they will reject you, that they'll say essentially that you're not enough. So how can you expand your self-love so that the container that you are of your being is bigger than any rejection? You know you are not an institution saying no to you. You know you are not a grant program saying no to you. You know you are not the audition saying no to you, but you love yourself so much. You've expanded your sense of self-love and self-worth so much that you can hold any rejection coming your way. Now, holding it doesn't mean not feeling any pain. It means loving yourself and respecting yourself enough to value the highest possibility over the worst case scenario. To say, yes, it may feel so painful if I go up to this person and they say, no, I don't want to be your friend, or no, I don't want to dance with you, or whatever it may be. And also, I love myself so much that just the possibility that they could say yes is so juicy to me, so expansive to me, that I'm more than willing to accept the no in service of the yes. So I want to ask you, are you willing to accept the no in service of the yes? So many of us think that people that we are inspired by, what separates us from them is how successful they've been. I actually think what separates us from them is often how much they were willing to fail, how much they were willing to be rejected, how much they were willing to try, how much they were willing to put in effort that didn't have instant results. Can we just refuse to reject ourselves at every step of the way? What are you aligning your actions to? And what can you invite yourself to align your actions to instead? So for example, sometimes I align my actions to the idea that in my expression, everything has to be perfect, that I have to speak perfectly, I have to give perfectly, I have to be in the state of excellence. And I'm really trying to align my actions to a different possibility. What if it just gets to be? What if it just gets to be? What if it doesn't have to be anything? What if it just gets to be? What if the getting to be is the offering? And I'm wondering, like, what version of myself loves herself so much that she just shares because she believes she is generous in her being, that every thought she has is generous. Everything she has to share deserves to be expressed. She's not holding herself with conditional love. And this is the big difference, my loves. Conditional love and the frequency of that. If this is good enough, then I'll be proud. If this gets external validation, then I can feel some sense of self-love towards myself or self-acceptance towards myself. But if not, so we're walking this very fine edge that necessarily feels like falling because we know how precarious we are at this edge. We know that we're so close to falling. And so of course we don't even want to be on that ledge at all. We'd rather just go watch Netflix. We'd rather just go scroll on our phones because it feels like the conditions that we are holding ourselves to are so punishing that it's like, why would I even try? So I often align my actions to conditional love, and I'm inviting myself to align my actions to unconditional love. If you dream of interviewing people, just you reaching out to someone to interview them, even if they don't respond, can that be what you celebrate? The fact that you asked, even if you never hear back, even if they never email back, the fact that you showed the universe. Oh, this is a great question. If you zoomed out and watched yourself from the perspective of the universe, what would the universe say your dream and vision for your life is? What would the universe say? Well, the universe is all-knowing, so it would know what's in your heart. But let's just assume that this version of the universe only has sight to work with. They only have sight and seeing what you are doing, who you are being. What would you be communicating to the universe that you dream of? Are your dreams observable through the actions you're taking? And if not, How can you align your actions? How can you sort of see yourself and be like, okay, I'm going to take actions that signal sign to the universe. Like, I am the sign language of the dream. Oh my word, that just came. Thank you, Spirit. I am the sign language of my dream. So the way that I'm acting in the world is literally the language of the expression of the dream. If Spirit saw me, which Spirit does see me, Spirit would say, oh wow, that is the language of this dream seeking to come through. Oh wow. Oh. What are you signaling through your actions to the universe? What are you signaling through the steps you're willing to take for the dream? And at a collective level, what are we signaling? We believe it is possible to co-create for the collective on earth. When we are always talking about how hopeless everything is, what are we signaling? That we're not the ones who are going to create heaven on earth. We're signaling that we don't believe that's possible. Yet, we are also the manifestation of people who believed it was possible. Each of us comes from and has benefited from the work of activists and artists, makers, visionaries who believed something more was possible. So it's almost like, how dare we not? How dare we not believe that something more nourishing is possible? And if the micro is a mirror of the macro, which Emergent Strategy by Adrienne Marie Brown describes so beautifully, then how we act in the littlest spaces of our lives also mirrors how we then can become and recreate the world. What I want to say to you, my love, is you have a natural magnetism, and aligned action creates magnetic attraction. Aligned action necessitates magnetic attraction. When you are taking aligned action towards your visions, dreams, hopes, towards our visions, dreams, hopes through you, because remember, the collective is dreaming through you. You are the dream teacher, dancer, musician, singer, coach, heart-led leader, poet, writer, world builder, activist, liberator, healer, teacher, that someone that many of us, that thousands of us, that millions of us, are calling in. So when you take aligned action towards that highest possibility, it cannot help but be attracted to you. So you will then draw in all the things that are in alignment with those actions. Because remember, aligned action is part of the bridge between the unseen and the seen world, as are you. So when you are taking action that aligns to this highest possibility, you create this bridge for the seen world to seamlessly become what you saw in the unseen world, or even better. Because sometimes our imagination is just the beacon that will lead us towards the place where we actually end up is so much more juicy, magical, and unimaginable. Aligned action creates magnetic attraction. Aligned action necessitates magnetic attraction. When you are shining and being the beacon that you are here to be, you cannot help but draw in people who see that beacon as specifically a beacon of hope for them, a beacon of possibility for them. What is the aligned action you can invite yourself to take? How much would you need to love yourself to accept any of the outcomes of that action? How much would I need to love myself to accept any of the outcomes of this action? To accept that I may reach out and they may say nothing. They may say no. They may say yes. Sometimes we fear the yes. We fear the success. We fear our own magnetism. But if you can trust your magnetism, what you'll also understand is you will magnetize towards you the exact support system required to hold you in whatever is unfolding. Because we can face anything in community. There's an amazing essay by Dr. Ayesha Khan on this, where she speaks about how in community we can hold anything. And there are different communities and spaces being created, being envisioned to support us in that journey. And I want to share with you that because I attract the literal best people on earth, like I'm actually in awe of our soul siblings the ones I've made in person, the ones I've made on calls, coaching calls, free calls, many calls I've done over the past years. I've done all sorts of calls, and I've had some of the most magical conversations. And so I thought to myself, we need to get the people together. We need a gathering spot. So a gathering spot indeed is unfolding. So if you would like to join us, because you are one of us, we would love to have you, and you'll receive information about that on my newsletter. So if you visit ayandastood.com, you're going to get a free ebook if you don't have it already, called the Soulful Visibility Guide. Tap into this vibration of soulful visibility. What do I mean by that? Like when I say that, what do I mean? So I think it's easiest to contrast it to soulless visibility, which I think all of us can see a lot of. And I don't think that all visibility is nourishing, just like I don't think all creativity is nourishing. War was created. Racism was created. All of this was created. All that we're suffering was also created. So I believe in creativity that is loving, creativity that is nourishing, creativity that makes the world more loving, thriving, that makes the world more mutually abundant for all. So soulful visibility is about that kind of visibility that changes, touches, moves each of us. That poet that changed our lives, that book that changed our lives. Had they not been willing to be witnessed in their gifts, and witnessing changes meaning as technologies change. And now we have a very sort of direct witnessing, but witnessed in their writing, witnessed in their magic, witnessed in their, and remember, that's the final book. They had to write that book, send it to a publisher or an editor who had to witness their writing, or if they had a speech to share, being witnessed by the people in the room, being witnessed in their artistry, in their teaching, maybe being a spiritual teacher who was persecuted for their views, maybe being an activist who was persecuted for their views. So we've all benefited from the soulful, soul-loving, rich, deep, the soulful visibility of our elders, of ancestors, of activists, of artists, people who are willing to be seen, people who are willing to protest, people who are willing to fight. So in that, the soulful visibility idea is that we all have something to share that can touch, that can move, that can serve, that can educate, that can nourish. And also, because we're also not here to just give endlessly and deplete ourselves, we can then receive, and that is the magnetism of it. There's a law of reciprocity. If you give your light, light will be given to you. And if you give your highest giving, your highest receiving will unfold. So that is what soulful visibility is all about. And soulful creativity is how can we create the world we wish to see? How can we recognize that every trauma that we are living was created by an imagination that necessitated it, by a colonial imagination, by a patriarchal imagination, by a white supremacist imagination. So we need to be aware that we are world builders, world weavers of a different kind of reality that is nourishing, that is playful, that is beautiful, but in that deep way, that is alive, when so many of the technologies that have been created are deadening, are numbing. They're about deadening ourselves, numbing ourselves, tiring ourselves, our eyes literally wanting to go to sleep but not being able to pull away. And then technologies like actual weapons, guns that were created. So if you are out here trying to write poems and you don't feel safe enough to share those poems, what kind of world can we create? You know what I mean? So you, the loving, nourishing creator that you are, if you feel called to express that in a small room of 2 people on a stage filled with millions, I'm here to support you in that expression. And something so exciting is unfolding for us to gather and take aligned action together. For more of us soul siblings to be in the room, virtually at first at least, and to co-create the most loving possibilities for us, and through that alignment, unlock the abundance that we are calling in. For us, through us. For us, because through us receiving abundance, we will also be a source of abundance for our families, for our friends, for our communities. And then also through us, by you truly in your power, you are magnetic. We will learn from you, we will receive from you, we'll be inspired from you, we'll get the breakthroughs from you. So you create abundance as much as you receive it. Remember though, it is the aligned action that creates, that necessitates the magnetic attraction. So if this interests you, visit ayandastood.com. The link is below and join us. You will receive more information on this juicy unfolding in the coming weeks. And I'm so excited to meet some of you, to have more of a closer space for us where we can truly gather and co-create. So I'm sending you all the love in the world. What is the aligned action that would take you one step closer to your dreams, your visions, your hopes? And then on a greater scale, who do we need to be collectively to create the heaven on earth that is possible, that we have felt? We've all felt a glimpse of it, a moment of it. You go to a concert or you are just with a friend and you feel seen. Like just a moment of it proves that it could all be that. A moment of bliss shows the possibility of collective bliss. And we've all felt a glimpse of that. So why not recreate the world in alignment with that? In alignment with that glimmer, with that shimmer of love, with that touch of delight, of sensuality, of pleasure, of wholeness, of home, of safety. Why not create with that as the highest possibility in our hearts for all to experience, to touch, to live? And if it sounds impossible, you know that I love the quote by Nelson Mandela, it always seems impossible until it's done. But also, how dare we? We sound impossible. You have billions of cells trillions of cells keeping you alive. You had a less than 1 in 400 trillion chance of being born, let alone still being here. You sound impossible. And here you are. The things you've lived, the things you've alchemized, you sound impossible. The amazing people you've drawn into your field, online or offline or both, you sound impossible. How nourishing you are, how much you've alchemized darkness into light, you sound impossible. So babes, how dare we not feel worthy of dreaming of what sounds impossible? I love you so much. I'm sending you so much love, and I will see you on the next soul session. You are precious. You are magic. You are delightful. And if you love the precious, the magic, the delightful, please watch Lilo and Stitch. It is all those things. I'm sending you so much love. I will see you on the next soul session. I love you. Bye. My darling, my love, my soul sibling, thank you for stepping into the soul salon. If you are still hearing or watching this, we are soul siblings. We are resonating on the same frequency. And so something you may struggle with, that I struggle with, is the fear of being seen. You know that visibility is involved in you living your creative purpose and being in your power, serving the collective through your gifts, through your magic, through your medicine. In order to do that, you know you need to be more seen than you are allowing yourself to be right now. I have a gift just for you, heart-made for us on this frequency, and it is a free ebook called the Soulful Visibility Guide. That is soulful visibility. Like, we don't just want to be seen, we want to be felt, we want to be heard, we want to move and be moved. So I do have a free gift for you, and all you need to do is go to my website, ayandastood.com, and there you will be able to input your email address and receive this directly to your inbox. This is such a juicy and delicious guide, and I change the free offering every few months, so get it while you can. All the links are in the show notes. So thank you so much. I love you, and I will see you on the next soul session. Okay, I love you. Bye.